Planning a trip to Bath. In this episode, I'm sharing practical tips and answering common questions, how to get there, what to do, where to stay, and whether to visit for the day or spend a few nights. Based on my own many visits, I'll walk you through what to expect and how to make the most of your time.
Welcome to the UK Travel Planning Podcast. Your host is the founder of the UK Travel Planning website, Tracy Collins. In this podcast, Tracy shares destination guides, travel tips, and itinerary ideas, as well as interviews with a variety of guests who share their knowledge and experience of UK travel to help you plan your perfect UK vacation. Join us as we explore the UK from cosmopolitan cities to quaint villages, from historic castles to beautiful islands, and from the picturesque countryside to seaside towns.
Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of the UK Travel Planning Podcast. In this episode, we're going to be talking all about Bath. Doug is here.
Hello there.
One of the most popular cities in England, of course, Bath is, and the only entire city in the UK to be recognised as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. In fact, Bath holds 2 UNESCO designations for its Roman and Georgian architecture and as one of the great spa towns of Europe. Now, before we dive in and start talking all about Bath, we would like to say a huge thank you to listener Lisa Webster, who supports the podcast with their monthly subscription. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Lisa. If you'd like a shout out on the podcast and want to support what we do from as little as $3 a month, we've included a link in the show notes. And thank you as well to everyone who sent us messages via SpeakPipe. We love hearing from you. If you leave your name and email when you record your message, we'll always do our best to get back to you. Now, back to today's episode. Doug and I have visited Bath numerous times.
Oh, many times over many years.
And so we thought in this chat today, we would share our favourite places, helpful tips, and personal experiences to help you plan your own trip. So we're going to cover how to get there, what to see and do, where to stay, when to go, and even a few great day trip ideas.
Yeah.
So Doug's going to take over host and duties in this one. So he's going to be asking the questions we often hear from you guys and chiming in with his own thoughts from previous visits too.
Yeah.
So whether it's your first time visiting Bath or you're planning to return, this episode will help you feel more confident about how to make the most of your time there.
Let's start with a simple question to start with. For anyone who hasn't been, where is Bath and how would you describe it? And I suppose an extension is, what makes it such a special place to visit?
Well, Bath is located in the county of Somerset, which is in the southwest of England. It's an elegant and historic city full of beautiful Georgian architecture, Roman history. It's compact and walkable, which makes it easy to explore and just enjoy being there. What makes it so special? Well, it's that mixture of history, architecture, spa culture, and literary connections, because you've got the Roman baths, stunning buildings like the Royal Crescent, and of course Jane Austen everywhere. It's a kind of place where you can slow down, take your time, and just soak it all in.
I couldn't agree more. In fact, I would add on to that, it's a relaxing place. We've spent many times visiting there and just had a picnic up near the park and just chilled out, haven't we?
Yeah, it really is. It's a very special city.
Okay, so the next question is, what's the best way to get there to Bath from London, for example?
Well, I'm actually going to turn this around and ask you, because as the UK train expert, I think if you explain how to get there from London by train, that would be really good.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense, doesn't it, really? Okay, so departing from London Paddington, which is the train station on the west side of London, using the Great Western Railway service, it takes about an hour and 15 minutes for the fastest service to Bath Spa.
So that's perfect. So that's the best way to get there by train.
Yeah.
And you say it's just over 2 hours. And we've done that journey so many times.
Yeah, by train is about 1 hour 15 minutes for the fastest.
1 hour 15,
but
yeah.
For driving, depending where you're leaving in London from, I guess it's 2 hours plus, depending on how many times you stop and to say where you're leaving from.
Yeah, we'd never say to leave from London, though, would we? We'd never say drive in London.
No, I wouldn't.
We say that all the time.
I really would not,
yeah.
no.
But if you are planning to, include Bath in a driving itinerary around the UK, which many of you do. We know it's a very popular place to go. What about actually driving there and parking?
Well, there is car parks available in Bath itself, but to be honest, I don't think you need to really. I mean, we're big fans of park and rides, aren't we?
Yeah, we do. Definitely recommend them.
Yeah, there's 3 around Bath itself, depending on which direction driving in from, but the park and rides themselves can work in a slightly different way.
Yes, I know some of them you park the car and you pay for the car parking and then you get a free bus, and some of them you pay for the bus and you have free parking.
Yeah, they all work a bit different, but they're easy to work out, aren't they?
Yeah, so it's either whichever way. One time you pay for the parking and you don't pay for the bus. The other you pay for the bus and you don't pay for the parking.
Yeah, that's it. But using a park and ride, it can actually save you time, because you haven't got to drive into the centre of, any city, but Bath in this case. And so that can save you a lot of time. You haven't got to sit in traffic.
Absolutely.
And me, who's doing nearly all the driving, if not all the driving, it gives the driver a bit of a break as well. So
yeah, that's true. So if you're planning to go and if you're planning to do that and go on a day trip and you're driving, so it's part of your driving itinerary, that's what I would recommend. We are going to talk about accommodation in a bit, but actually that's something to consider if you are going to get accommodation, that you need to really think carefully about the parking issues. But I say we'll mention that in a bit. Yeah. But we honestly do recommend trying to avoid parking or even trying to park in any of these cities, especially Bath is extremely popular.
Yeah. I mean, for Bath itself, we've recommended to we've done itinerary consults for. There's a lovely little village called Bradford-upon-Avon, not too far. It's actually minutes away by train. So even if you're driving into that direction, you can maybe stay, if you plan on staying more than one day, in Bradford-upon-Avon and then catch the train in.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So do you think, we know it's doable as a day trip, but, recommend staying overnight, really? Yeah,
ideally, if you can, we would recommend that you have a few days in Bath. But you can, if you're limited itinerary time and limited time in the UK and you're kind of putting your itinerary together and you want to really go to Bath, but you're struggling to fit it in, you can do it as a day trip. And I've done that many times from London. Our partner that does this is the English Bus, which is a small coach. It's a small group coach that will take you to Stonehenge, Bath, and to a secret Cotswolds village, which I won't mention because it's a secret. But I've done that before, and that's a really great, it's a small group, really great guide. You get to cover Stonehenge, Bath, and as I say, part of the Cotswolds. So that covers kind of 3 very popular destinations, but you do get time in Bath to explore and at least have, a small taste of the city, really. Other ways to go to Bath, if you're staying in the Cotswolds, for example, you can go out with Go Cotswolds, who again, we work with, do small group tours, excellent small group tours. Last year, I actually went to Bath with my mum to the Christmas market, and they also now have a new Bath and Southern Cotswolds tour, which departs from Moreton in Marsh or Stratford-upon-Avon. Now, for both the English Bus and Go Cotswolds, we have a promo code for a small discount, so I will link to those in the show notes. And we actually have had Chris from the English Bus and Lisa from Go Cotswolds on the podcast previously as well, so you can listen to them all about their companies, what makes them so special. Another option is you can take a private tour if you want from London out to Bath. So My Tailored Tours, again, they've been on the podcast. They can talk all about their private day tours to Bath if you want something a bit more bespoke for you. You want to kind of maybe include a few places on the way to stop off, for example, Stonehenge or Avebury, for example. You can talk to them. Otherwise, that's a great way to get out to Bath if you want to do it privately. But if you can, I would say try to stay at least one night just to soak in the amazing atmosphere of Bath.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So let's talk about accommodation now. So you stayed in Bath a few more times than I have. So where did you stay, and would you recommend those areas?
Well, we actually stayed together a few years ago at the Black Fox, which is an 18th century inn with what they describe as 21st century luxury, which it is. And it was fantastic. We really enjoyed that, didn't we?
We really did. It was really nice.
And very historic, fantastic breakfast, as I say, and it was just really close to the train station, close to walking to the actual Roman baths itself to the actual centre.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. So we really enjoyed that. And then actually for my mum's 80th birthday, I took her she chose Bath as where she wanted to go for kind of a few days away. So we stayed in number 15 by Guesthouse, which was excellent. Food was excellent. You got dolls' houses in the bedrooms, lovely bathroom. It's a real lovely boutique hotel, and with lovely little touches. Like there's a little pantry that you can go and get crisps and drinks and sweets, which was just fantastic. They'll also pick you up from the station as well if you organise that with them. So if you arrive at the train station and you need to get, obviously, with your luggage to the hotel, they'll organise that for you. So that's a lovely hotel. And then the other hotel that I stayed in, actually I was invited to stay in last year, was the Hotel Indigo in Bath. And now this is a beautiful 4-star boutique hotel. It's again close to the station, very close to Bath Abbey and the Roman baths. Lovely restaurants, gorgeous rooms, bathrooms, beautifully decorated. And actually, I have a full review of my stay at that hotel on the website, which I will link to. But there are lots of boutique hotels, Georgian B&Bs, self-catering flats, lots of varieties, different places to stay in Bath. I will just say, though, if you're driving, make sure that you have got parking included in the accommodation. That's one thing that we are constantly reminding people of. It's very important in Bath. But beautiful. And another tip I will say, as well as looking if you're driving, making sure that you get parking, is to consider booking ahead if you're visiting during a festival period, during the summer, school holidays. It can get very busy, especially with the Jane Austen Festival, which is annual. Christmas market is very popular. So if you're planning to go stay in Bath in those periods, do book ahead.
Okay, so we know there's plenty of things to do in Bath, but what are some of the top attractions that visitors shouldn't miss?
Well, I think you should also join me talking about some of these things, because, we both love the same things in Bath, don't we?
We do.
Right, so the number one that you really shouldn't miss if you go to Bath are the Roman baths, and they are the top attraction. They were built in 70 AD, can you believe it? And they were built on top of the thermal springs. A lot of it is in ruins, but much of it really is remarkably well preserved. You can actually see the changing rooms and the plunge pools that people swam in.
Yeah, that's true.
2,000 years ago. It's absolutely incredible. The museum is excellent. It's interactive. And one of my favourite things about the museum is there's a model of actually what it looked like, because it was an entire complex that the Romans built. And you can, even if you want, and we have both done this, sample the actual mineral waters.
We have.
And you can see the spring. You can actually see the water coming from the spring. So it's absolutely incredible. It's 100% somewhere you should include in your itinerary.
Yeah, and doesn't matter how many times visited there, it seems to get better every time. They just sort of embrace a little bit more of it or add this in, and you think, hey, it's just fantastic. We love going.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. And the museum is appropriate for all ages. Planning a trip to London, if you're looking for tours that are well organised, full of interesting stories and a pleasure to take part in, I can't recommend Walks and Devour tours enough. I've done several myself, from famous landmarks to amazing food tours, and every single one has been a real highlight. Their guides are great storytellers who make the city feel alive. The team really cares about the details and puts a lot of thought into making each experience feel special, comfortable and full of those "I'm so glad I did this" moments. You can find all my favourite tours at uktravelplanning.com/best London tours.
And very importantly, from an accessibility point of view, it's 90% wheelchair friendly.
Yeah, it's honestly a fantastic place to visit. Now, if you do go, make sure that you go early. And if you're going during peak season, so summer holidays, school holidays, weekends even, that you book ahead, because it does get booked up. And we've seen long queues, haven't we?
We really have, yes.
So the second place that I would say that you should visit is Bath Abbey. Now, it's only 1 minute walk away from when you come out of the baths. You turn right and the Abbey's right in front of you. You can't miss it. Now, the Abbey dates back to the 7th century. There is a small fee for entrance, and my mum was she really wanted to go and see Bath Abbey, so she loved it when we went in. It has beautiful stained glass windows, and just the architecture is absolutely stunning. Now, what you can do, and I must admit I haven't done this, and I'm sure it was Wendy in the previous episode, a long time when she was doing a trip around the UK, they climbed to the top of Bath Abbey, and the view's amazing. So I actually need to add that to my list for next time.
Most definitely, and I can't believe I have not done it already.
Well, that's both of us need to do that. We need to climb to the top of Bath Abbey because apparently the views are amazing.
I can imagine, yes.
So now, obviously, Bath is very famous for its architecture, and there are two places that you shouldn't really miss. One is the Royal Crescent. Now, the Royal Crescent, it consists of 30 identical luxury Georgian townhouses, and they are simply stunning, aren't they?
They are.
They are beautiful, really, really beautiful. And if you've got an interest in Georgian history and you want to actually see what it was like in a Georgian home, you can go into number 1. Royal Crescent, which is a museum. I found it a little bit pricey to go in, but honestly, it was absolutely worth it. And I did it this year. It was actually last year. It was October last year. I decided I was going to go and have a look round. And honestly, it was well worth it. It was very interesting. I will put some photos of what you can see. But I would recommend doing that and having a look around. And then just beside the Royal Crescent is the circus. Now, the circus is basically, it is a circle, but it's not a circus as in clowns and acrobats. It is a circle of, again, identical Georgian townhouses, and they are stunning. So absolutely beautiful to enjoy, really, and architecture.
I enjoy looking at these sort of things as well. Even, I'm not an architectural expert or Georgian expert, but it is actually visually
it's beautiful, but they're made of the Bath stone as well, so they're just that kind of lovely creamy colour as well. And of course, there's a Pulteney Bridge. Now, the architect who built this was inspired by the Ponte Vecchio in Florence. So it's one of the only bridges in England, maybe in the world, I think, obviously, along with the Ponte Vecchio, which has got shops built along the span of the actual bridge itself. So the architect, Robert Adam, apparently visited Florence and went, wow, I love this. So he designed Pulteney Bridge based on that, and that was completed in 1774. So again, quite old. And you do get a great view of the bridge if you take a boat tour. We did that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did a walking tour and a boat tour as well, which was a lovely combination. And you do get obviously a different perspective from the river that you do from the road.
Yeah, and that was a combination one. It's a combination. Yeah. So we went on the boat to start with, and then I had a walking tour afterwards. So I'll actually link to that in the show notes. So that was absolutely fantastic. Now, obviously, I can't not talk about Bath without talking about the Thermo Bath Spa, which is, of course, as I say, Bath is named after the spa, like the spring. You can actually bathe in those lovely warm mineral-rich waters, just like the Romans did, which is amazing, really. So, yes, there is a spa. You can book that, and you can go and bathe in those waters and enjoy relaxing.
Yeah, very nice.
And of course, if you've done that, or you've done a little bit of sightseeing, you've had a bit of time at the spa, and you think, oh, I could do with a bit of shopping. Also, there's quite a lot of nice shops in Bath as well. I do enjoy. Yeah. And of course, bookshops. They've got some great bookshops, but I know your favourite is Mr. B's Emporium.
I love Mr. B's Emporium. It's just so relaxing. The staff are incredibly passionate and helpful, and really enjoy going in there.
Yeah, there's some comfortable chairs you can sit down as well when you have a perusing the books. I did absolutely. And of course, just round the corner from Mr. B's, and I have to mention this. Of course, I have to mention this because we're talking about Bath. Is the Jane Austen Centre.
Yes. Bath is so closely linked to Jane Austen. So really, what is the best place to visit for fans?
Well, I've just kind of mentioned it, the Jane Austen Centre. So that is an interactive museum. You get a guided tour by kind of character actors, and then you get to look around the museum. But it's an interactive museum. So I've got actually a picture of my mum writing with a quill, which she really enjoyed. You can dress up in Regency outfits. You can have your photo taken with the Jane Austen waxwork. And we did this. Took my mum up there. You can go and have afternoon tea in the Regency tea room. And I will also mention the gift shop is amazing. I always go to the gift shop. But I took my mum there, as I said, for her 80th birthday. I went to Bath, and she wasn't sure about the Jane Austen centre. She said, I don't know. And she loved it. She absolutely loved it. It was one of the favourite things that we did. And what's really interesting is that the centre is at 25 Gay Street, and actually Jane herself lived at 40 Gay Street, so not too far away for a short period of time when she actually lived in Bath. So I think that's kind of cute.
Oh, that's very nice. So when is the Jane Austen Festival, and really what can people expect if they visit that?
Yeah, well, that's really famous because obviously there's an annual festival every year. It's basically in the second week of September, and this year, 2025, it's Friday, September the 12th to Sunday, September the 21st. I am hoping that I can get to it this year. I really would love to. There's lots of different events, including a Regency costume promenade. Can you imagine? Just amazing. Theatrical performances, talks. It's just if you're a Jane Austen fan, honestly, it's just fantastic. And it goes on for 10 days. So I will actually link to the website as well. So if you want to fit that into your itinerary, definitely look out, see if you can get some tickets for that.
Yeah, I bet the tickets sell out fast.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, as well as Jane Austen, more recently we have got Bridgerton, which was filmed in Bath.
Oh, right, yeah. So where are the key Bridgerton filming locations? Can visitors see them easily?
Well, I'm not going to give that away. I am not going to give that away because you can do a walking tour of Bath and discover all of those. And I'm going to highly recommend it because I did that last year and it was such a lot of fun. The one I will give away is Lady Danbury's house, which is located at the Holborn Museum in Bath. And that's it. That's the only one I'm going to give away. Do a tour, honestly. I highly recommend it.
Oh, that's mean. Okay, so let's talk about getting around Bath. So would you say Bath's easy to explore on foot?
Yeah, I think it is walkable and you can see most of the city on foot really without much problem. I will say that I did go with my mum who for her 80th birthday. So she did struggle a little bit. So we did, Uber is available and there are taxis available in Bath. So I did call Uber most of the time to, if we wanted to get someone that was a little bit, like for example, going to the Crescent or going up to the Circus, it's slightly uphill. Yeah. And it was a bit rainy actually for one of the days. So we just called the Uber and that was not a problem.
So visitors don't need to worry about transport within the city then, really?
No, because you can get, honestly, Uber was easily available. And there are local taxis, for example, outside the train station as well. Because there are a few hills. And if you want to...
Cobblestones,
yeah. And if you want to go out of town, obviously, you'll probably want to get an Uber or a taxi. And there is actually a hop-on, hop-off bus, which I've actually never done. That was another thing I think we're going to... I don't know how many times I've been to Bath, and there are a couple of things I'm like, maybe we need to do those next time. But yeah, so there's a hop-on, hop-off bus. But yeah, we had no problem with any of that. It was actually worked out really well.
I was going to say, it's a relaxing place as well, so that I think the whole pace of Bath is quite steady and...
It is, except when it does get busy though in the summer and in Christmas. So we went to the Christmas markets and it was quite busy. So I think you've got to take that into consideration that it is a very popular city.
It is.
So it can get...
Even with British people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it can be busy. Yeah. So...
Okay. So let's talk about one of my favourite subjects now, food and drink. So what would you say some of your favourite places to eat or have a drink in Bath?
Well, I would say for both of us, it's probably going to be Sally Lunn's, isn't it? And we recommend Sally Lunn's to everybody. So honestly, we should have shares in Sally Lunn's, which we don't. I'll just be up front, we don't have. So actually, the building that Sally Lunn's is located in, they've dated the fireplace and chimneys back to 1482. You really, just going into Sally Lunn's and the whole experience is amazing. So basically, Sally Lunn arrived at Bath around 1680. She was a Huguenot refugee and she started baking what have become her famous brioche-style buns. Now, we love them, don't you? And you can get sweet and savoury. Now, I highly recommend the lemon curd.
Oh, yes.
Just delicious. But we've also gone there for dinner, haven't we?
We have, yeah, we have. Because they're very filling as well.
They are. And we had savoury ones in the evening.
A savoury mushroom one.
Yeah, it was really nice. So I would definitely, you don't have to reserve. You can just queue up. It does, again, get busy. But honestly, go and have a Sally Lunn's bun, lemon curd if it's at lunchtime, and a cup of tea. You won't regret it. And the settings are amazing. Now, what you need to also do is don't miss the little museum after you've had your brioche bun, is to go down the stairs, and there's a little tiny kitchen museum where you can see the medieval oven that was used. It's incredible. And you can also see how the pavement levels have changed over the centuries, which I found absolutely fascinating. So don't miss that. A lot of people, I think, don't know about it. So have your tea, have your Sally Lunn's bun, and then go and check out the museum downstairs. Now, I also did mention before that we stayed at number 15, Guesthouse, which was a lovely hotel. And I'm going to mention their restaurant because my mum and I ate there, I think 2 nights because the food was so good. And what we tried was a local dish, which are Bath pork chaps. So CHAPS, which were just delicious, absolutely delicious. I don't even know how to describe them. Hopefully I've got photographs so I can put in the show notes because it's going to be a difficult thing for me to describe. But believe me, they were absolutely delicious. And I've never had them since. I didn't have them before that. I'd never even heard of them, but they were lovely. So I'd highly recommend that. So number 15, honestly, was really, really good. Also, actually, the Indigo in Bath, we had a beautiful French onion soup. Oh, it was delicious. I still remember it because it's one of my favourite things to eat anyway, but it was really good.
So there's different options for all budgets and dietary requirements, though?
Oh, yeah, there's loads of independent cafes, there's pubs, there's high-end restaurants, there's a lot to choose from. I would just say book, though. Like, if you're thinking you're having a Sunday roast, make sure that you book ahead because you're going to, especially if you're there during, any Sunday, really, it's going to be always necessary to book. But make sure that you do book restaurants if you specifically want to eat in one of the specific restaurants. I would also say I went to Bath it was January this year, on the English bus tour, and I arrived and we hadn't booked anything for lunch, and I thought, I really want to go to the pump room. It's mentioned in Jane Austen's novels. Who doesn't want to go in the pump room for afternoon tea? So that's what we did. Luckily, they had a couple of spots. Oh, it was lovely. So afternoon tea with the piano playing. So somebody playing the piano. There was somebody, I think they were playing violin. Oh, it was amazing. So classic music in the beautiful setting of the pump rooms, and just having this gorgeous afternoon tea. I would highly, highly recommend it. I think it was lovely. And just to sit in somewhere that has been mentioned in Jane Austen's novels, it was just crazy. Yeah. So I'd recommend that. But as you said before, there's loads of places to choose from for food. And if you're on a budget, honestly, there's Marks and Spencer's. Go and get yourself a meal deal.
Yeah, we've done that many times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's good to know. So when talking about when to visit, you've been at different times of the year, as I have I. When would you say is the best time to go there?
To be honest, I think any time of year is perfect for Bath. I mean, I'm just trying to think. In the last year or so, I've been there in July with my mum. It was quite warm. Had a little bit of rain, but it was pleasant, very, really nice. I've been there. I was there actually late January, early February this year. So it was actually early spring. So there was lots of daffodils everywhere. It was lovely. It was actually quite quiet, and it was just one of those cold, crisp days. So it was lovely. Of course, I was there in December for the Christmas markets, which were just very atmospheric and lovely. I guess the months that I would consider perhaps if you're can avoid it, I guess, would be September because you've got the Jane Austen Festival. But again, that's just 10 days of September. So it will just be busy.
Unless you have a particular interest in it.
Yeah, of course. If you're going for I want to go for the festival, so I want to go in September. But if you're not particularly interested in that, or, it'll be more expensive for places to stay and it will be busier. But I don't think you can really go wrong. I think the thing is preparing. If you're going to go during a school holiday time, during peak season and summer, you just make sure you book things ahead.
Yeah, very good. So you mentioned the Jane Austen Festival in September this year. Do you have any other seasonal tips or festivals to plan around? Well,
I think it's just checking online because there are lots of festivals that are held. Obviously, the most famous one is the Jane Austen Festival, which is, as I said, annually every year in September, second week. So that, that's coming. But there are literature festivals, music, there's lots of things going on. So I think it's just a case of checking if you've got a particular interest, that if there's any of these kind of annual events on when you go.
Yeah, that's good to know. So we mentioned earlier about using Bath as a somewhere to base yourself. So, where would you say is nearby to explore?
Oh, it's a great base because there's lots of places that are close to Bath. So if you base yourself there and want to go out on some day trips, some you'll need a car for, but a lot you can access by train.
That's
for
right.
example, Salisbury and Stonehenge, not very far from Bath at all.
Yeah, easy one, yeah.
You've got Wales, you've got the Southern Cotswolds. You can go by train to Bristol. You can even go to Cardiff.
Cardiff, that's right.
There's plenty of options for day trips from Bath itself. So I have got actually a full article on that. So I'll link to that in the show notes as well. Yeah, so if you actually go and base yourself there.
Yeah, Bath Spa train station is well served.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like if you can, a popular actually tours, a lot of tours will leave from Bath that you can go to Stonehenge, Salisbury, Southern Cotswolds, for example, Castle Combe, Laycock, they're very accessible from Bath. And you can combine half day tours to different places. You could go to Avebury and Stonehenge.
Even Bradford-on-Avon, we said earlier.
Yeah.
So, another place to visit.
So plenty of places to go from Bath itself.
Oh, that's good to know. So can you recommend any guided tours or self-drive options to places like Stonehenge, Salisbury or the Cotswolds?
Okay, so private tours, we would recommend Daniel from Bath Insider Tours. You can actually listen to Daniel on podcast episode 139, where he talks about himself. He's born and bred in Bath, and he takes walk-in tours, including Bridgerton, as well as day tours and multi-day tours and bespoke tours. So you can, we talked about all those different places that you can visit from Bath. You can chat with Daniel about creating a tour for you, be private, and you can go and visit all of these places with him. So that's a great option. If you're going to do some of these kind of self-drive options, again, I'll just make sure that you've got, we always talk about this, but it's so important to make sure you've got parking. If you're going to leave your car and then drive back, make sure that you've got parking wherever you're staying in accommodation. But there's plenty of places that you can drive to from Bath as well.
Oh, yeah, so many. Okay, so partly touched on this before. So where have you not yet visited in Bath, Trace, and hope to add to the list for next time?
Well, I obviously would love to go to the Jane Austen Festival. That's what goes without saying. And this year it's the 250th anniversary of her birth. So, how amazing would that be? So what I haven't done, and I've looked at so many times, is actually the Bath Thermas Spa. I've just not done it. And I really would love to. You really need to book that ahead. That's the problem. We've actually gone before and not booked it. Now, if you go in the morning, I think like 8 a.m. or 8:30 a.m. when it opens, you may get spaces that morning. And we thought about doing it, but we had such a full itinerary, we didn't. Also, I'd like to try the hop on, hop off bus so I can report to you guys if it's what it's like and where it goes. And also from, again, previous trip reports we've had on the podcast, I'd like to walk up Alexandra Park and get the panoramic views over Bath.
Oh, that'd be great, that would, yeah. That's good to know. So on sort of practical tips, really, would you say Bath is a family-friendly destination? Yeah,
absolutely. I think the Roman baths have done such a great job of the museum. Absolutely, you've got kids to take them and to have a look around it. It's really good. Take them on a boat ride on the River Avon. That's really good fun as well. I think so. I think it's a family-friendly, absolutely.
I'd agree with that one. So attractions, you again partly touched on this as well. Would you recommend booking in advance?
Yeah, I kind of want to reiterate this, to honestly look at booking the Roman baths ahead of time. If you want to do the Therma Bath Spa, again, book that ahead of time. And if you're going to be visiting during the festivals or Christmas markets, I would make sure that you book hotels as well ahead of time.
Yeah, that makes sense. So really, and then for a first-time visitor, how long would you recommend visiting for?
Well, I really would say stay for 2 nights. Stay for a minimum of 2 nights if you can. And I know, I've got a 1-day itinerary. So if you're planning to do it independent from London and that's all you can fit in, have a look at my 1-day itinerary, or do one of the tours, if you're from London with English Bus, or if you're in the Cotswolds, go with Go Cotswolds and explore that way. But ideally, if you can spend longer there, I don't know how many times I've visited. I've stayed in Bath 3 times in the last couple of years. And in fact, in the last year, I think I've been 3 times. And I could go back again and again. And as I say, I haven't done everything at all.
Oh, fair enough.
There's so much more to do.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Now, this last part, I'm sure you're expecting this question. If you could give just one tip to someone visiting Bath for the first time, what would that be?
Well, again, I guess I'm going to repeat myself, but just please don't rush it. Give yourself at least one night if you can. And also do the Roman baths. Visit the Roman baths. Yeah. You'll learn so much about the history of Bath, because it grew up around that. Obviously, before the Romans. The Celts were there. Mm-hmm. So, you've got that history. It's just fantastic. Yeah. And make sure that you book those attractions like the Roman baths and the spa in advance, so you don't waste time either queuing or miss opportunity to go.
You don't be disappointed if you're visiting, specifically for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And just have a great time.
Most definitely, yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, because you've been interviewing me in this episode, which is always fun for me. It kind of gives me a podcast episode off, asking the questions, so I've been answering them. Well, I guess what leaves me to kind of say for this episode is that you, as always, will find links to everything we've talked about in the show notes for this episode, and there'll be lots of photos as well, which will kind of illustrate some of the places that we stayed, or some of the places that we've eaten, and lots of the places that we've visited in Bath. But I think that leaves us to say until next episode, until next week.
Happy UK travel planning.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the UK Travel Planning Podcast. As always, show notes can be found at uktravelplanning.com. If you've enjoyed the show, why not leave us feedback via text or a review on your favourite podcast app? We love to hear from you, and you never know, you may receive a shout out in a future episode. But as always, that just leaves me to say, until next week, happy UK travel planning.